Few pastries are as universally beloved as the cinnamon bun, yet no version carries quite the legacy and charm of Sweden's kanelbullar. From humble beginnings to a national icon, kanelbullar has transcended generations, cultures, and even borders, all while retaining its place as a staple of Swedish tradition. In this journey through history, we'll uncover how kanelbullar became a symbol of warmth, togetherness, and national pride, woven deeply into the cultural fabric of Sweden and celebrated worldwide. As the cold winds sweep across the Nordic landscape and cozy homes light up against the early dusk, a comforting aroma fills Swedish kitchens, bakeries, and cafes. That scent is kanelbullar, the cinnamon bun, a pastry whose allure has captivated not only the people of Sweden, but the entire world. But kanelbullar is more than a delicious treat. It's a symbol of tradition, of gathering, and of the Swedish spirit. The story of kanelbullar begins over a century ago, rooted in a Scandinavian culture that values warmth, simplicity, and togetherness. This humble cinnamon roll wasn't originally meant to be the star of the Swedish baking repertoire. Yet today, it stands as a culinary emblem of Sweden, closely tied to a beloved tradition called Fika, a daily ritual of pausing to share coffee, pastries, and conversation with friends, family, or colleagues. Fika isn't just a coffee break. It's an essential part of Swedish life, a moment to slow down and savor the present, often accompanied by pastries like kanelbullar. And while Fika may encompass many treats, no pastry embodies it more perfectly than kanelbullar. Its warm, spiced aroma and delicate fluffy texture are woven into the fabric of Swedish daily life. But how did this sweet roll hold such a cherished place in Swedish culture? Our story starts in the early 20th century when Sweden emerged as an industrial nation and its urban population began to grow. At the same time, access to sugar, spices, and flour was increasing, and home baking was becoming popular. In the 1920s, cinnamon, a spice long available only to the wealthy, began to find its way into the kitchens of ordinary Swedes. A new baking era was born, and the cinnamon roll became a favorite treat among the growing middle class. With cinnamon now widely accessible, the pastry gained popularity as an affordable yet indulgent item to share at gatherings. But kanelbullar was shaped as much by practical influences as cultural trends. During World War II, when sugar and butter were scarce, kanelbullar recipes were adapted to reflect the rationing era. Bakers reduced sugar and fat content, but kept the essential ingredients intact, focusing on flour, yeast, and just enough cinnamon to retain its signature aroma. When rationing ended, kanelbullar returned with renewed enthusiasm to Swedish homes and bakeries, embodying a return to abundance and celebration. By the 1950s, kanelbullar had become a Swedish household staple, and its popularity grew. Home economics classes taught young students how to bake them, emphasizing the importance of baking as a family activity. The post-war era brought greater prosperity, and families had more leisure time to enjoy rituals like Fika. In this period, kanelbullar became central to gatherings, not just for holidays, but for everyday get-togethers, a warm and familiar reminder of comfort and togetherness. This cherished bun is much more than flour, butter, and cinnamon. It's a symbol of Swedish identity. In fact, kanelbullar has its own national day, Kanelbullens Dag, or Cinnamon Bun Day, celebrated on October 4th. Established in 1999 by the Swedish Home Baking Council, Kanelbullens Dag was created to honor the country's rich baking heritage and encourage people to keep baking at home. On this day, bakeries, cafes, and homes across Sweden fill with the smell of cinnamon and cardamom as Swedes celebrate their beloved pastry with friends, family, and the traditional Fika. Cardamom, a spice that also made its way into the kanelbullar recipe, plays a special role in Swedish baking. Though it's not as well known outside of Scandinavia, cardamom has become nearly as essential as cinnamon in Swedish sweets. The spice gives kanelbullar a unique, slightly exotic fragrance, making each bite warm and fragrant. The Swedes were among the first Europeans to incorporate cardamom into baked goods, and it's still an ingredient that sets kanelbullar apart from the cinnamon rolls found in other parts of the world. The beauty of kanelbullar lies not only in its taste, but in the act of making it. Traditionally, Swedish bakers prepare kanelbullar by rolling dough into a sheet, spreading a layer of butter, sugar, and spices, and then rolling it up into a log. The roll is then cut into spirals, each one twisted into a knot, or left as a classic swirl, before being dusted with pearl sugar and baked to golden perfection. This method is taught from generation to generation, passed down as a treasured family tradition. Children learn to bake alongside their parents or grandparents, and each batch of kanelbullar becomes a shared memory, a sweet connection to family and heritage. In recent years, kanelbullar has gained popularity outside Sweden, finding its way into cafes, bakeries, and kitchens around the world. From Tokyo to New York, food enthusiasts have embraced this Nordic treat, enchanted by its warmth and delicate spice. Some bakeries have even put their own twist on the classic recipe, adding nuts, glaze, or other unique toppings. Yet, despite its global reach, kanelbullar retains its simple Swedish essence, an invitation to slow down, enjoy a moment of warmth, and take part in a tradition that has remained unchanged for generations. The rise of kanelbullar in global popularity speaks to a universal desire for comfort and community. In a world where life often moves relentlessly, kanelbullar represents a small escape, a chance to pause, share, and reconnect. The rise of social media has only added to the appeal, with images of beautifully crafted buns capturing the attention of audiences worldwide. But while kanelbullar may be admired from afar, to truly appreciate it is to experience it as the Swedes do, not just as a dessert, but as a meaningful part of daily life. In Sweden, making and sharing kanelbullar is about more than just the pastry itself. It's about nurturing a sense of community. The tradition of Fika, where kanelbullar often plays a starring role, reminds people to set aside time each day to connect, reflect, and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Whether in a bustling Stockholm cafe or a quiet country home, Fika brings people together, fostering a sense of togetherness and well-being. While the world changes and new trends come and go, kanelbullar endures. It stands as a testament to Swedish values, simplicity, warmth, and connection. Each bite is a reminder of the past, a taste of the present, and a promise to carry on the tradition. Generations have gathered around tables to share these fragrant, spiced buns, savoring the taste of something that feels like home. And as long as there are hands to knead the dough and ovens to bake the rolls, the story of kanelbullar will continue, a sweet thread woven into the tapestry of Swedish life.